Hey folks, before we get started, I wanted to let you know that during the course of the conversation that Sedlo and I took a tangent and started talking about photography a bit. Obviously, enjoying aircraft for us, part of it's taking pictures at air shows. So while we started geeking out a bit on the photography, if in fact you don't like air show photography, you can always turn it off. But I did want to give you a heads up. And so if you enjoy photography, keep going. It's not the whole episode, but anyways, I wanted to let you know that it was out there.
Eastern group now turning cold, Angels 12. Bogey Dope Western group.
285 and 43, Boss.
Okay, I show well south of the line, 14 miles.
Red 9 Slasher 02 copies, clear to engage. Danger close.
Clear to kill, clear to kill. He's abandoned.
And we received not just light automatic
Mindy, let's come hard left.
Roger, just his deep hammer. That's him right there.
Welcome to the Air Combat Sim Podcast. I'm your host, Rob, and today we have a special episode. And joining us is the talented Sedlo with some insights into the recently released F-4E and some of the things that he's been up to with that and his missions. Welcome, Sedlo.
Good day, eh? How's it going?
Outstanding. So, a quick question. The Good Day it always reminds me of Strange Brew, the movie.
Yeah. One of my favorites for sure. It's a classic. That's probably where I got it from.
And have repeated the lines more than my wife would like.
That's exactly. Me too. Yeah, my wife is not too appreciative of it, but I love it, and I'll keep saying it till I die.
Anyway, so last time we talked, we were getting ready for the release of the F-4E, and that has come out, and even we've had an update since then as well. And we've had the Kiowa Warrior release, and I think you've been updating your BFM missions, or all your missions, accordingly. So,
yeah, it's been a busy time for sure. The last few weeks have seen a lot of releases, the F4, Cola, Kiowa, and, we're supposed to get some more things here in June as well. So, yeah, been busy.
So what is, now you had the F-4E pre-release and you actually put together a mission for that when it was released. How have you gotten any feedback on that? Any from folks and how it's been received?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback about it. A lot of people are appreciative that there was so much content released with the F4. I don't think we've seen something like that before. So, and then people seem to enjoy the mission. It's positive feedback. I'm happy about it. I'm excited about it. And I've decided to turn it into a campaign. So,
oh, really?
Starting work on that as well.
Now, is that going to be a paid campaign or similar to Bold Cheetah?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Yep.
It could go one of three ways. Just exploring that right now. But putting together this second mission, and I've got ideas for the third, and it's not going to be anytime soon. It's going to be a slow process. My time is limited these days, so as I can, I'll be plugging away at it.
Well, I won't hold you to any of that, but I will say that I always appreciate, as I say from time to time, is the detail of your missions, including the getting in there and having to change radio settings and the more authentic approach to it. So it's greatly appreciated. I'm looking forward to it.
Right on.
Whatever one whichever method it takes. So
right on.
Cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it as well.
So when it comes to the F4, what do you think about when you're looking at that aircraft? Are there any considerations that you take when making a mission? specifically for that?
Well, there's a lot of material out there. The F4 has been around for a long, long time, still around in some air forces. So there's a lot of historical records. There's a lot of novels that have been written, memoirs, and things like that. So I get a lot of ideas about missions from those. Lots of stuff in my head. So there's a lot of stuff to draw from with the F4. A lot of different areas of the world and tactics and things like that. So it's really almost the easiest module to create a mission of, because there's just so much material.
From a feature standpoint, do you like, for example, one of the things that just recently came out was the ability to, or a feature from ED was to be able to change settings within weapons themselves. Does that impact you as a mission maker at all?
Yes, quite a bit actually. So yeah, now you've got like 3 different fuse options for a lot of the air-to-ground ordnance, and you've got timers and delay settings and things like that. So implementing that backwards through all the stuff I've done is going to take some time, and just to A, figure out how it works, and B, changing the missions and the documentation. So it's a big pain in the butt, but it's it's going to give you that extra bit of realism. So I'll be working through that over the next little while.
Yeah, you know what's interesting. We didn't talk about that beforehand, but it kind of lends itself to like, oh my gosh, Dave, you have to go back and fix a lot of things historically. But even going forward, I can imagine that as that feature perhaps evolves, that could be that could be a challenge. Have you guys been? Has Eagle Dynamics provided any kind of insights or any kind of documentation for mission makers to work with that?
Not that I know of. I mean, the basic idea of it, I think, is out there, but I haven't seen like a technical manual on what each fuse does and how to employ it in the game and in the mission editor. So I'm just sort of stumbling around trying to figure it out right now.
Yeah, no worries. So, and I've noticed that you have gone out and you have updated a number of your videos. So, in addition to the F4, we also had the release of the Kiowa Warrior. So, have you had a chance to take a look at that?
I have, yeah. It's actually quite exciting. The detail in that module is very impressive. Just ask Casmo. I mean, he flew the thing and he's very impressed with the module. So that sort of speaks for itself. But yeah, lots of systems to try to figure out, and ideas again for future missions. I'm not a very big helicopter guy, mainly because I just suck at flying them. I don't have too much time to sit down and really try to learn how to do it yet. But who
Yeah,
knows
no,
what the future will bring.
I'm not. I don't spend too much time with helicopters either, and frankly, I give Casmo some jabs when I'm. You know, I don't know why. Like my kids, when we go to an air show, they'll sit there and they'll say something to the effect of like, "Oh, I love the Apache," and then I'll tell Casmo and say, "I don't know what's wrong with my children. Something's gone terribly wrong," just to pull his chain a bit. But
Yeah.
but no, I thought it. You know, I got the module. Did you get it early? Did you get a chance to take a look at it early?
We did get a chance to take a look at it, yeah, and just help with the testing of it
Hmm.
towards the end. And yeah, no, it's quite good. I mean, it's not as intensive to learn as like the Apache is, with all its systems and subsystems and things like that. So it's kind of a good. It's very well detailed,
Hmm.
as not as complex as the Apache. So I think, if somebody's getting into helicopters for the first time, or somebody who wants to learn it maybe a little quicker, yeah, the Kiowa is where it's at. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what people do with it mission making wise.
Yeah, no, I think it's, when I've watched some of Casmo's videos and getting on the and watching that, it's, sometimes when I see a video, and this is probably something we can chat about in a little bit, but, um, I've been impressed, and watching Casmo's videos has made me want to go ahead and get it and fly it and learn it. Uh, the challenge is the limited time that I've got. I'm like, okay, do I do the Kiowa Warrior, or do I the F-4, or where do I spend my time? And then even now, coming up, we'll have the Chinook in short order.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's sort of like we've got so many options right now of stuff to do, and there's just so many minutes and hours in the day that you're allowed to do it. So yeah, it's a lot to choose from for sure. You can't be good at everything.
Yeah,
That's what I learned.
yeah. It was funny the other day. I went back. I was trying to figure out, because it's been so long. I went back to the F-18. I'm like, oh, how do I use the AT FLIR again? How do I
Hmm.
lock this up? And boy, I'll tell you, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
But it was funny though. I was watching. There was something that popped up on Hoggett about, I guess, the Kiowa Warrior flying at 20,000 feet sideways,
Right.
and then people are like, "Well, the model is wrong," or I'm like, "Oh my gosh, guys."
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. No, I mean, like we try to fly it as it's flown. We
yep, exactly.
there's so much stupid stuff you can do with a module, right? So I don't know. Hoggett is a dangerous place to visit sometimes. I don't know.
Well, be prepared for anything that you put out there to be, uh, as Casmo says, the rivet counters are out there waiting to dissect anything.
Oh yeah, and it's just sometimes people are just they like to point things out. You know, I was first to say it or whatever. I don't have time for that.
No, concur. No, it's interesting. I mean, I think we're all trying to, from my perspective, when I was growing up, I build models and things like this. But what DCS provides for me is ability to understand, and have fun with the aircraft and learn more about it. But software, I guarantee there's a lot more bugs than we know, than people are finding. But it's entertaining. It's an entertainment value.
That is true. That's true. At the end of the game, too, or at the end of the day, it's a game, and we just gotta sometimes.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. So, but one thing was interesting, that I was thinking about the other day, because as things kind of get pushed and scheduled around, I know BD has, or Baltic Dragon has a campaign that he's about to release, called Gamblers, with John Rainwaters, and that to me, it seems it's going to be a great. I haven't played it, but it seems like it's going to be a good module. It's going to, he's taken in John's, Rain's notebook, essentially has recreated missions based on that. But I think that what we're seeing today is, certainly from you and from BD, a lot of great single player, content that's coming out there. And even from a training perspective, your tools in your videos are extremely helpful, certainly for me. So as I've said before, I appreciate it. But I also think that we're getting a significant amount of content being created because people can. And and I was going to ask you, not all content is created equal. But what are your thoughts in terms of your process of creating content? I always get the impression that when you're putting a video out, that you've got a specific objective that you're going for.
yes, yeah, exactly. I, and it's usually a small little building block that I do. I don't try to cover it all or go into too much detail about stuff. But yeah, I just sometimes I think what have I learned the hard way in
Hmm.
DCS, and maybe I can put a video out showing people how to do it so they don't spend, days or weeks trying to figure something out. Like today, I'm gonna upload a video about how you can make an ELT transmission go off when somebody ejects, and not just like the normal sound to all type thing that people usually do, but to make an actual radio transmission happen at the point of the ejection. So, I mean, it's a little niche thing. I mean, maybe people would like to do it, maybe they won't, but it took me quite a while to figure out how to do it. So I just thought maybe people would like that. So
I
that'll
think
go
that,
live.
yeah, I mean, I think there's, and again, this is my opinion. I think that, that is, those chunks are great. As I mentioned with the F-18, the fact I haven't been doing something with it for the last 6 months, yeah, I'm rusty with it. So sometimes those 60 seconds or short versions of videos are great. When I'm getting spun up, I really appreciate Red Kite's videos. And
Yeah.
so when I think about going back to it, I think I was just completely floored with the amount of F-4E content that was on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot for sure. There's some really good ones, and there's some not so good ones. But yeah, it, I think it's helpful for sure. And some people learn certain ways, and other people learn different ways. So there's a lot of variation in the types of delivery as well. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to you know. Well, I'm trying to think of a
Well,
phrase for it.
I think it's what can be interesting and frustrating is that the YouTube algorithms that continue to bring me, you watch this F4E video, so therefore you want to watch these other ones. And I think we're getting to this point where it would be helpful to have more of almost need a list of the good videos versus all the videos, right? Because there's so much getting produced.
That's true. That's true. And to get featured or come up, you just have to tickle the algorithm just right. And there are some people who know how to do that, and maybe their content is lacking, but they're the ones getting all the views, type of thing. Yeah, I don't know. A central list of videos that you find helpful. Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know how to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and maybe this, in Hoggett has they have the wiki, so that might be an interesting place to put it. Not, they've got a lot of stuff, but I don't know if it's, easy to find. I guess that's one of the biggest complaints I would have is that if you're getting started, sometimes it's hard to find the right information. That's why if you have something like the good guys over at the Virtual Armed Forces can help. They've got a lot of documentation, can get you spun up. But even just from a video standpoint of going, if you search like I did today, F-18, AT FLIR tutorial, some are 5 years old, some are 3 years old, and there could be something that has been introduced within the last 3 years.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's always kind of tough to figure that out.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge going forward too. We got such a library of things, and sorting the wheat from the chaff is going to be hard. Yeah, I don't know. It's
No, yeah,
maybe
I'm not sure there's an easy answer on this one, but it's
I,
just something I've been contemplating lately as I look for content.
I mean, also maybe that could be a project that Eagle Dynamics takes up too, right? Because okay, you got your manual, but some people prefer to learn it by video,
Yep.
and yeah, sorting through all the videos to find the right one is not fun. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be ideal to sit there and go, if you could sit there and say, like, for example, sometimes Tricker's videos are great for me because I haven't looked at how to start an F-16 in a while.
Right. Right.
And then all of a sudden, like in 60 seconds, boom, 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 boom. And I think that's fun. I think Bogey Dope does some good stuff in terms of his walkthroughs and missions, which are good. But I guarantee there are also folks out there that I haven't seen their videos that have done a great job. I mean,
That's
I like most of Casmo stuff. Sometimes not as much, but I feel comfortable that I can tell him that. I'll text him that later. But I think overall, I think you're right. It would be great if it was if Eagle Dynamics had the authoritative list of of videos and also documentation. I think that would be great.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. It sounds like a good project to do. I mean, something I might want to do, but I just don't have time to do it. So,
I'll try to somehow. Maybe I can try to guilt you into it. I don't know. Maybe I'm joking. I'm
yeah,
joking.
no, guilt works for sure.
No. Well, and so I was gonna. One of the things funny, Jabber said a long time ago, and I was like, "Well, I've got a telescope," and he goes, "Well, of course you do because you like DCS." I'm like, "What?" So are there other hobbies that you're into that you would see to be a natural association or tangentially associated with DCS or similar?
I mean, it's such a big
Sorry
part
for the
of my.
random question, but yeah.
No. Yeah, it's so much a part of my life. It's hard to have other hobbies. I mean, I like military jets and helicopters, so air shows for sure. But that's once or twice a year. I'm really into. I've got like a couple radio scanners on my desk now. So I like to listen to aviation in the area.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's one. I mean, that's why I'm so. My missions are really kind of radio centric because I've just always been into that. But trains, planes, automobiles. I like getting out, whale watching, hiking, fishing. But
Yeah, I mean, I it's funny you say it because I have this ICOM radio on my desk that I'm trying to learn how to use.
good luck. ICOM is so. They got such a different way of doing things than anyone else. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. I was just, but in part of it, like for example, air shows, and I like air show photography. That's always great for me too. So that's always in learning how to be a better photographer. So no, I was just curious, as that was something that Casmo had, or not Casmo, but Jabbers had said at one point. I was kind of curious on some of these other tangential things.
Yeah. No, photography is a big one for me as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've been doing that for quite a while, and yeah. So photos of airplanes seem to feature heavy in my Lightroom library.
Yep. No, I other than the fact that I've got a lot of kids' soccer pictures, but yeah, I mean that's the other. When it comes to just take this moment to go on a tangent on photography. What do you normally when you go to an air show and you're taking pictures? What kind of gear do you have in terms of lenses or camera?
Yeah. So nothing modern or super professional, but I've got a one of the Z or Z50 mirrorless, and the big lens I have is a 300 Nikkor, a 300 millimeter F4. And for closer stuff, I've got the kit lens on there. I've got a wide angle as well, but I generally just have the 300 on the Z50, and I've got a D7000 as well with a just a wide angle on there for inside and outside shots. And then the iPhone, iPhones take pretty good pictures too of statics for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things we've been doing on Authentic lately is as we're kind of we're doing a lot of media stuff, but we're also, in some of our team just went to the Cherry Point Air Show where, with media passes, which was really
Nice.
cool. So they got inside access to it. But to your point, when I go, I do have the, I do have my Nikon, and I've got my iPhone in my pocket that I pull out more often than not um, for some of the more wide angle shots or statics.
Yeah, no, the iPhone certainly gets its use. We went on a trip a little while ago, and I didn't, I couldn't bring the 300, of course, and I brought the Z50 with its kit lens on it. But to be honest, the iPhone is quick and easy, and not as obvious. So
Yeah, in even getting it, I find that I do a lot of it happens in post in terms of finding the picture within the picture, whether it's from an iPhone or from the mirrorless, or
yeah, yeah. I mean, just like a simple crop can really make a difference, right?
that's huge.
So
Yeah,
much you can do.
yeah. It was funny. I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and we were kind of, what's the line in terms of things that you can do, because now even within Lightroom, you've got generative AI,
Right.
and so it was kind of this, you know, and we had when I went down to the uh, Great San Antonio Air Show not too long ago. It was a really cloudy day, so I took a lot of great pictures, but the backgrounds kind of sucked, and so I
Yeah.
can do a lot of, you can do the tweaking of it, but at a certain point, it uh, becomes less of a tweak of a picture and more of graphic design.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right. I always pray for good weather, but
Yeah,
I've been skunked more times than I've had good weather. That's for sure.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's good, but it's interesting to hear that what other folks are taking, and for me, I had a D850 some time ago, and I
Ooh,
miss that.
nice.
I miss it.
There's a lot of them on sale, secondhand used right now. As people are, it's almost the golden age of photography
Mm.
for the semi pros because there's so much uh, DSLR gear. People are ditching it to go to the mirrorless systems. So some good deals out there.
Yeah, it was funny. I was thinking about that, actually going back to and getting a D850. But part of what um, the challenge is now that I'm learning, I'm just completely used to the new system, which focuses on the eyes, or the eyes of a person or the bird, or that now can be updated, or dynamically takes the picture. So I wonder if I've lost certain skills based on the new mirrorless operating systems that are being implemented. I don't know.
Well, I probably, probably.
I'll get the D850 and go, damn it, I've done it. I can't use this anymore. So, but yeah, I've spent. I still have some of my original F mount lenses on that I still use on the new
Oh
Z
yeah, I
mount.
mean, the glass is great, and you get the adapter, and there's a whole library of lenses to choose from. Yeah, yeah, golden age, I tell you, golden age.
I'm with you. I'm with you. So, do you have any air shows that you're looking at coming up?
Well, I guess Abbotsford is coming up in August, and I'm still not sure if I'll be able to get over for that. So that's it basically for me right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
in my area, there's not much more.
I've got. I'm in Austin, so we have Houston. We have nothing in Austin, but we have San Antonio, which has got a large Air Force presence, and then we have Houston Air Show, which are both great. And so I think what I try to balance out, and that's going to be, we just had the San Antonio one, and then we're going to have one in October. So we'll take a look at that, but we'll probably have some folks out there doing some stuff, and then hopefully we went to the Oceana Air Show. Authentic did
Yeah,
last year, and that was amazing. In that it really represented the Navy, right? That was the Navy's East Coast Air Show, and all the squadrons were there. So it was really neat to see that, and I had not seen that before.
Yeah, no, Oceana is one of my bucket lists. It's my St. Martin of air shows. I really want to go see it there one time. And being right on the water, the vapor factor is often there, so good times.
Yeah, no, it was really neat. I think the thing that the guys, the Authentic Guys team was talking about is number one, that things that are going away are like the Harrier.
Yes, yeah,
So that's why one of the reasons they went to Cherry Point. And then I think this is the last year of the A10 demo team.
it's true. Yeah, last Harrier and last Warthog demo. It's I don't know. The future is F-18, I think.
It's yeah. So it was really interesting to me that they had at the San Antonio show was had this search and rescue like entire. I had not seen it before, but they had two F-15s that had flown in from Louisiana, and then they had the A-10s, and then so they had this whole, and then they had the helicopter for SAR. And then they had special forces guys in the helicopter. So they had this whole scenario, which was really, really cool to see. And I just hadn't seen that before, all put together, but it was really neat.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome to see. Jealous.
No, it was pretty fantastic. And so my hope is when I head out to the Houston Air Show, they'll have something like that. But yeah, this is going to be we have a number of things going away. And then I think, boy, I'll tell you, they also had the F-15B or F-35B at the air show. And oh my gosh, that is loud. I didn't tell my wife, but I didn't have the headphones on my kids. So, they have hearing problems. That's all me.
Worth it.
Yeah,
Worth it.
totally. They didn't. It's fine. They're fine. So
I had one time. It wasn't an air show. It was an exercise. Trident Fury back in '07, and at that time you can get right up next to the runway at Comox, and I was right under the approach path. And as the Hornets came in, I was getting, approach shots and belly shots. And this one, I didn't have hearing protection. I left it in the car because I was running to get there in time.
uh-huh.
And he's down, 50 feet overhead, goes to full burner, and I could not hear right for a week. I'm sure I've done some damage from that, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I think I definitely, I think over time, have exposed myself and have done some damage. But yeah, I think, but I think it really works out well because I think as I get older, and this is what I see with my parents, my in-laws, is there are things you just don't want to hear anyways. So it
This
just
is
works.
true. You're right. You're right. All you really need to hear is the fire alarm, right? As long as you can hear that,
Yeah.
everything else is.
Yeah, I think and since my wife's not going to listen to this, I would just say she's got a lot to say, and I'm not sure all of it is really, I'll just nod. So yep.
Yep. Yes, dear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do you have? What do you have coming up? So you've got a new mission you're gonna roll out today.
Not a mission.
Oh,
just
I mean
a
the video. Sorry.
Yeah.
The video
not
today.
just- and then, that's almost it right now. Probably be working on Gulf Guardian missions for the next foreseeable future, and just keeping other stuff updated, getting the new fuses into the older missions, and yeah, that's sort of
a
my
lot.
DCS time. Yeah,
That's a lot. No, that's good. That's good stuff.
yeah, and I'm looking forward. I know there's an F-4 campaign that'll be out very soon. I'm not sure if it's been publicly said before, so I won't say who's doing it, but yeah, that's going to be great. I've flown a few of the missions, and they're really, really fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I was getting the Wild Weasel mission this morning. I had got it a while back and just started flying it, and then I realized I don't remember how to fly the F-16. So
Yeah.
it's-
No, you're right. I can only be good at one thing at a time, maybe two. But yeah, you start doing a different module and everything drops off. But yeah, it's
you're right.
part of the fun.
It is, and I think it's kind of like, it's getting to the details of it, and even the F4 though. I was noticing had a mission just to train on, and I had F4 and F-18, and I was flying the F-18 and I got blown out of the sky, and then the F4 though seemed to take hits better. So
Yeah.
so I don't know if the damage model, if you kind of, but I was enjoying it, and I'm trying to get one of those spun up, but I need to get into your trainers to get myself back into it.
Yeah, it's it's a good way to practice a module for sure. I would recommend it.
Yours is the gold standard, my friend.
Well, I don't know what the price of gold is these days, but I appreciate your kind words.
Well, on that note, I think that's thank you again for joining me this morning and putting together this episode. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I always enjoy talking with you.
Indeed. All right. Well, on that note, thanks, folks, and we will be back soon.
This has been the Air Combat Sim Podcast. Music by Vampire Stepdad. Want to support the show? Check out our Patreon. Follow us on Facebook. And be sure to leave a comment and rating.